When Edeora told the villagers, they dismissed her story. But Elder Kem believed her. Perhaps the child's innocence will lead us to the truth, he mused. Adeora's discovery of the drum sparked intrigue among the elders. They examined it carefully and found strange carvings etched into the wood. The carvings were symbols, unfamiliar to most, but Elder Kem recognized them. These are ancient CBD symbols, he explained, running his fingers over the intricate markings. They tell a story of betrayal and greed. The symbol spoke of a man named Anayo, who had betrayed his people by stealing sacred treasures from a shrine to enrich himself. The gods, angered by his selfishness, cursed him to roam eternally, taking from others what he once coveted. When Edeora heard the name, she gasped. "I think he's the man I saw," she said. "He looked so sad." The villagers murmured uneasily. Could the mysterious Santa Claus be the cursed Anayo? That night, the village priest and the elders gathered to discuss how to handle the situation. Father Emmanuel proposed the spiritual cleansing of the village, while Elder Kem insisted they needed to break the curse. As they argued, a sudden gust of wind blew open the church doors. A deep voice echoed through the room. "You cannot stop me," it said, sending chills down their spines. "Until my name is spoken with forgiveness, your livestock will be mine." The villagers were paralyzed with fear, but Elder Kem spoke up. "We know your name, Anayo. Show yourself." The voice laughed mockingly. "You know my name, but you do not have the heart to forgive me. Until then, I remain." The room fell silent. The elders realized the curse was tied not just to knowledge of Anayo's name but to the act of forgiving him, a daunting task for the villagers he tormented. Determined to end the thief's reign, the village hunters called for a secret meeting. They decided to set a trap unlike any before, one that would involve both physical and spiritual measures. "Let us bait him with the things he desires most," suggested Obina, the sharpest of the hunters. They decided to leave a pen full of goats in the village square, surrounded by hidden hunters. Elder Kem offered to provide a charm to keep the thief from vanishing. "Beware," he warned. "If this man truly carries the god's curse, force will not be enough." That night, the hunters waited in the shadows, arrows drawn and hearts racing. The mysterious Santa Claus did not disappoint. As the moon reached its peak, jingling bells echoed through the square. The hunters tightened their grips on their weapons as the figure in red emerged, moving swiftly toward the goats. Just as he reached the pen, Obina gave the signal, and the hunters sprang into action. They surrounded him, weapons drawn. But before they could act, the thief raised a hand, and a gust of wind knocked them off their feet. "You think you can stop me?" The thief growled, his eyes glowing red. He vanished into the night, leaving the hunters bewildered and defeated. When they reported back to the villagers, the frustration was palpable. "We cannot fight him," Obina admitted. "We must find another way." That night, Edeora had a vivid dream. She saw the mysterious Santa Claus sitting by a river, his red cloak draped over his shoulders. He looked tired and lonely, clutching a small bag filled with strange items. In the dream, he spoke to her. "I was once like you, full of life and hope. But greed consumed me, and now I am cursed. Only forgiveness can set me free." When Edeora awoke, she ran to Elder Kem to recount her dream. The elder listened carefully and then said, "The gods have chosen you, child. You may be the key to breaking his curse." Elder Kem and Father Emmanuel worked together to create a plan based on Edeora's dream. They decided to hold a forgiveness ritual at the riverbank where Edeora had seen the thief. The entire village was asked to participate, but the idea of forgiving the man who had stolen so much angered many. "How can we forgive him?" Onima demanded. "He has taken everything from us." Elder Kem replied calmly, "Forgiveness is not for him alone, it is for us. Only by releasing our anger can we free ourselves from this torment." Reluctantly, the villagers agreed. That evening, they gathered by the riverbank, singing songs of unity and holding candles. Edeora stood at the front, her small frame illuminated by the flickering light. As the villagers sang, the sound of jingling bells filled the air. The mysterious Santa Claus appeared, his red cloak billowing in the wind. He looked at the gathering with suspicion, his glowing eyes scanning the crowd. "What trickery is this?" he demanded. Edeora stepped forward, clutching the drum he had left behind. "We know who you are, Anayo," she said boldly. "We know your pain." The thief hesitated, his glowing eyes dimming slightly. "You cannot understand my pain," he said. "I have suffered for centuries." "We do understand," Eldankem interjected. "And we forgive you." The words hung in the air, and the thief's form began to waver. Could the curse finally be broken? The villagers watched in awe as the mysterious Santa Claus faltered. His glowing red eyes dimmed further, and his hands trembled as he clutched his cloak. "You forgive me," he whispered, his voice filled with disbelief. Eldankem stepped forward, his staff firmly planted in the ground. "Yes, Anayo. We forgive your greed and betrayal, but only if you make amends. Tell us how we can help you break free from this torment." For a moment, it seemed the thief would relent, but then he let out a bitter laugh. "It's too late. Even if you forgive me, the spirit that cursed me still holds my soul. I am bound to serve it until the end of time." Before anyone could respond, the figure vanished into the shadows, leaving only the faint sound of jingling bells behind. The next morning, Eldankem summoned the diviner Agbola to Umueze to unravel the mystery of the spirit Anayo served. After casting her cowries and invoking ancient chants, Agbola's voice dropped to a whisper. "The spirit of greed, Obonma, is a powerful and vengeful entity. It thrives on selfishness and anger. To break its hold on Anayo, you must confront the spirit directly and offer it something more valuable than wealth." The villagers were puzzled. What could be more valuable than wealth? Onima scoffed. Agbola looked at the crowd with solemn eyes. "Unity and sacrifice. Only when the village comes together to offer a selfless gift will the spirit release its hold." Agbola's words left the villagers uneasy. Selflessness had become rare in Umueze, a village once known for its harmony. Years of prosperity had bred pride and greed, and many wondered if they could truly set aside their differences for the sake of one cursed man. Father Emmanuel called a meeting at the village square, urging the villagers to contribute whatever they could for the ritual. "We must show the spirit that we value community over material things," he pleaded. Slowly, people began to offer items, baskets of yams, jewelry, tools, and even livestock. But Onima refused to part with anything, still bitter over the loss of his dowry cows. "Why should I sacrifice when I've already lost so much?" he snapped.